Okay, we are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our live stream. We're pretty excited today to discuss for sale by owners and why you shouldn't do a for sale by owner. Not that you can't, but we just feel like it's probably not in your best interest. So we're going to go over some top reasons why. We've got the whole team here, so I'm excited about that because these three are crazy, and I think enough people hear me talk, so having them talk is good too. And they're better than me, although they may not like it as much, the videos, but they're better than I am. So we're going to talk about for sale by owners a little bit. All of us are going to chime in on some top reasons why, doing it for sale by owners risky and time consuming and a lot of different obstacles that I think people don't realize. So hopefully after our video today, you will call us to list your house. Or call another agent or somebody, but ultimately, we think that you should probably tackle it with an agent or so. But so to start off, really, I want to say is statistically, it's proven that when you list with agents, that you sell your house faster and for more money. And we're going to go over a little bit of all of how that works. Some people are like, no way, you've got to pay real estate commission or whatever, but ultimately, that's statistically proven. Then we're going to get into statistics of how many for sale by owners really sell on their own versus ones that sell with an agent, and how that works. But so let's get into it.
Well, I want to start and kind of talk a little bit about why listing with an agent, I think, is just overall better. But I kind of have a story of why I think so. So I worked with a couple of different for sale by owners in 2020, and one in particular, they were for sale by owner, but they didn't even live here. So they lived in New York. He was selling his house that he had here while trying to live in New York. And so what he did was he asked his buddy to put a sign in his yard that just said beautiful home with a phone number, no other information. And technically his friend was his agent, but he wasn't an agent. And so he was counting on his friend to sell his house, but his friend had to work. And so getting showings in, it was hard for him because you're going off of his schedule because he doesn't really work for his buddy, like he's not getting paid for this or anything. So I thought that was interesting because it's more often than not, if you're looking for a house, you're going to look from your phone. You're going to be browsing online, you're on Zillow, which Zillow sucks, but you're going to be more than likely sitting in bed on your phone looking for a house to buy. You're not actively driving around neighborhoods looking for signs because it's easier. We're on our phones all the time. So listing your house with an agent, I mean, if you were to list your house with an agent here, you're going to blast it out automatically. Well, your agent will to 800 plus agents in Onslow County alone, which is a lot of agents. And if you think about it, each of those agents have their own pool of clients, buyers, their own sphere of people that they know who's looking for a house, and that could fit exactly what they're looking for. They could just shoot that house over to whoever, and boom, you can have a bunch of showings on that same day just because you listed it on the MLS with an agent, which you can only do with an agent. So I think that's really important is marketing. I think a lot of sellers too know how big of a deal it is to market your house, and simply putting a sign in your yard usually is not going to do it. Even if you were to put the listing in Zillow, personally, I just don't think that's enough. Not enough people are going to see that, and it might scare them away that there's no agent involved. And then also, for example, with the Frost Real Estate team, because there are 6 of us total, we would all be listing your property. So that's our goal here. We want to work in-house. We like to work with each other, obviously. And so our goal is to push to get your house sold quicker. And so we have our own pool of buyers. And if we have something coming up that's not on the market yet, we push to get it sold first by letting our clients know, hey, we have this house coming up and it fits exactly what you're looking for. So you have people constantly working for you. You have an agent who's always ready to show your house because they work for you. And I think marketing is just really huge whenever you're trying to sell your house, especially if you're doing it as a for sale by owner.
And real quick, I would caveat on that just to say that, if you're really looking to sell something and think about it, you're selling anything. It's your car, it may be clothes, whatever it may be that you want to sell personally. the more visibility you have on that item, the more likely it's going to sell. So if you're for sale by owner, and like Amy mentioned, you put a sign in your yard, really the only people who are going to see that every day are your neighbors and or people who drive past your house to get to their house. That's not a lot of visibility. So again, keep that in mind. And when you're looking to sell, you want as many eyes on that house as possible. That's what a good real estate agent or team does for you, is pushes its eyes on it for views and then gets showings. That's really what we're hired to do, besides negotiate, and we'll get all that later. But ultimately, it's to be able to see your property and get them in the door in order to get as many buyers as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So
to go hand in hand with the showings, who is actually coming into your house if you're a for sale by owner? Do you know these people? Are they pre-qualified? Are they strangers, nosy neighbors who just want to come in and see what you have going on? I mean, is your house better than theirs? What can they do to sell their house, faster than yours? And also safety. So if you're doing for sale by owner and you have somebody comes, knocks on your door, calls you and says, hey, I'm interested. Are you just going to let this person come into your house? I mean, do they have the funds? Are they pre-qualified? Have they been checked over? Do they have an agent? Who are these people exactly? You don't have any way to know, whereas if you are listing with our team, with, another agent, they have pre-qualified buyers. They know who they're talking to. They come with the agent, an agent's always going to be with that person looking at your house. You're not just going to have random people, coming in off the street. So they're already going to be ready to buy.
Yeah. But so also, sorry, I was going to say something.
I skipped. Mine paused for a minute. Did everybody else's pause?
Yeah, it's a little lag, but that's okay.
Okay, yeah. So I missed some of Heather's there at the end. Sorry, Heather. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
no, you're fine.
Something that's really important too is pricing your house right, I would say, because if you're for sale by owner, there's a chance that you are listing your house too low and you're just selling yourself short. Most for sale by owners, what is their ultimate goal? It's to make the most money that they can possibly make. So that's why they don't hire an agent. They don't want to pay that realtor fee, which we'll get into a little bit, but more than likely you're going to pay somebody a fee because it's free for a real estate agent to represent a buyer. So why would a buyer just come up and say they want to buy your property when they can have an agent represent them for free?
And most don't. Right. Most buyers
have an agent. So you're going to pay a fee regardless most of the time. Yep. But something really important is your pricing of your house, because like I said, if you're too low, you're selling yourself short. You could have made more money, and statistically you do make more money, like Dave said, listing your house with an agent. And that can be from a couple different factors. That could be you don't know how to pull comps the right way, which we are experts in. We know how to look at what houses in your area have sold, the similarities, and then how to compare those two. That way we know a good range to price your property. Something else too is if you're too high, you can scare away people who want to come see your property because they're not willing to pay that much money. It's not worth it for them. Or you're just no longer in their search criteria. And so if you're priced too high, you're going to go months potentially with no showings. That means no potential offers coming in. That means you're now eating your mortgage for how many months when you could have just hired an agent. I mean, our days on market as our team currently is 18 days. It's probably less than that now. But overall, you could have saved so much time, so much money by just listing your house with an agent. So when you hire an agent, I mean, we take care of everything, but I think it's a really huge factor is pricing your house at a good competitive price point. That way, and we know a good range, and we know what to price your house at competitively compared to what is your competition in the area, what houses have sold. And our goal is to get people in the door. Our goal is to have offers come in and get your house under contract faster, which means you will see your profit come around to you faster too.
Yeah. So real quick on that too, two things Amy hit on really that I thought was good was, you got to price it right. So most owners go off of what they've heard. I mean, I don't know how many of us probably could say, oh, I talked to this person, about selling a house, and I heard the neighbor's house sold for this. And then when we go and look in the system, it's not even close to that. I just had that happen in almost in our neighborhood. People thought a house sold down the road for way more than it did. That's not the truth, right? So there's a lot of, myths out there that people start talking and then they believe it, right? A gossip. And then another myth that really kind of doesn't really go with it for sale by owner, but a little bit based on list price, like Amy said, is everybody wants to list their house higher than maybe market value because they think they're going to get a low offer. And they fail to realize what Amy also said was the higher your list price, if it doesn't really jive up with comps, like our team, we're smart with that. We'll look at the comps for our buyers as well. Then you're not going to get showings. You're not even going to get an offer that's lower because it's listed too high and nobody's going there. So always remember that from our standpoint, we want to list it by market value aggressively to get people through the door. And the likelihood is they're going to give you, especially in this market, full asking almost. I think we're doing pretty, I don't know that statistic for our team. Maybe we need to look at that, but most of ours are coming in at basically full asking, or Heather has got more. She's got a couple of her listings went more, and we were like, there's no way. We didn't, but they comped out, right? So so remember that, if you're a homeowner, think about that too, that, you don't want to listen. But that's where we help you anyways as agents. So that's all I had to say there.
Yeah, and then another area of concern for sell by owner would be understanding the concessions in our market. Huge. So what standard the concessions that the buyers would ask for. So they don't know if a buyer is asking for something that's crazy or astronomical when they're not familiar with what is in our market area at the time.
Right.
And then another thing that real estate agents do are negotiations. So we can advise you on what you should do or really shouldn't do. What's a good deal for you and what's not a good deal. So we don't make the decisions for you. We just guide you with making those decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if an agent brings a buyer, you're still going to have to pay that buyer's agent. So you're not going to get out of completely not paying a commission when selling your property, because most buyers are going to be coming with an agent, which we had already talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even then, like if a buyer were to come in to buy your property, like you're the for sale by owner, a buyer comes along, they have their agent representing them. You don't know how the market's going right now.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know how to negotiate. You don't know what to negotiate because you don't know what you see in this market. And so what's going to happen, that agent's experienced. And even though you're willing to pay that 2.5% or 3% to them, because you're still going to save yourself 2.5%, 3% by not hiring an agent, you're going to get taken to the cleaners. And so by then you should have just hired an agent because they could have protected you and looked out for your best interests too.
Exactly, because the buyer's agent is looking out for their buyer, not you, the for sale by owner.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Right. And I always say this, would you go into court without an attorney? And most people are like, well, heck no. Yeah, I mean, you really don't. I mean, you only see the wackos do that are kind of out there anyways, So I think, and I'm not saying for sale by owners are wackos, but I mean, you have to look at it that way, because as we go down this list, I'm sitting here thinking, if anybody's sitting there really thinking, I really should list my house by myself without an agent, we haven't even got through some of these that are even more important, I think. But, you have somebody there that's going to look out for your best interest. And I know, yes, we do get paid to do that, but, it could save you thousands upon thousands to start and thousands upon thousands when you do sell it. Because if you miss something was done incorrectly, which I think we're probably going to talk about a little bit of certain things here and there. And, it could cost you money in the long run, right? So anybody got anything more on kind of the common concessions and, negotiating or?
Yeah. Like we're with them throughout the whole transaction. So we're guiding them through the whole process from the start of listing their house all the way to closing on the house. So things come up along the way.
Boy, do they.
Yeah. Just like negotiating for repairs. Would they really know what to negotiate for on repairs?
Yeah. And then you think about like Heather's deals. Heather's got some difficult ones here and there. It's just she passed. Right. So, all of us have had some, ones that really, you look at it and maybe this sounds rough, but if they didn't have a real estate agent, those deals would have been big time problems, even worse And that's what I think most people don't understand of as real estate agents. You get in the business and you think, oh, buy, I sell houses. But really, we deal with a lot of deal making, a lot of figuring out how to get through an obstacle that is like huge. Divorces.
Heather.
Yeah. Relationships, foreclosures all of a sudden, short sale process, can't find serial numbers on things. Like there's all kinds of things we deal with that ultimately most common people, even before when I was a real estate agent, I never had any clue that this happens, let alone I think what Jen just said was there's so much that we do behind the scenes that people don't realize as real estate agents. The coordinating and closing, talking to the attorneys, inspectors, contractors, going all through that and reviewing documents and keeping things timely based on contracts. It's just on and on and on that we, as a for sale by owner, you're really going to be stuck with doing your everyday job and then trying to do, really a full-time deal when you're in a transaction. It really takes a lot to get through that, more than what people realize. And I'm not saying that there's not other houses out there that's been really smooth and people haven't sold them. Yes, there has. But generally speaking, most regular homeowners shouldn't tackle it themselves. It could cost them a lot of money up front, during, and then after. So, but any more on that piece? I'm just going to go into kind of some documents and things like that, I think. But if anybody got anything else on the commission stuff, nope. All right. So going into when I mentioned that it could cost you later is there's certain disclosures that you need to have by North Carolina real estate, right? So you have to have a property disclosure statement. You don't have to answer the questions on the disclosure statement. You can put no representation. But ultimately, you have to have that document for the transaction. Mineral, oil, and gas rights is another one. So these are documents typically when I know all of us have met for sale by owners, they have no clue on. No idea that they have to have them. No idea they're part of the transaction. So understand that is a process that, having an agent, we already have that. We know how to have you or instruct you to fill them out. We know how they're supposed to be. Like, these are things that we already know, and again, can save you later. Because if you answer a question, say you said the electrical is, this way or that way or whatever, you answered it wrong, and later on there's an issue with the house, and the electrical proves to be the opposite of what you said, or the plumbing or whatever, you're going to get sued because that's what people do now. People sue each other all the time. So that's what's going to happen. And just because you want to hire Jen and save $10,000 on a commission that splits with two agents, it's going to cost you $30,000, or something like that, right? So remember that when you're, sitting back there, real estate agents do a lot more and provide you with the documentation that you need, and we review documentation that comes in for your offers. So reviewing it for timeliness, dates, punctuality, numbers, all of that, right, before we even send it to you. So, that's something that's very important. Anybody got anything on that?
I don't think so. I mean, documentation is definitely very, very important.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like with, hiring a real estate agent, a team, whoever it may be, is definitely very helpful in the transaction. But with the Frost team, with our team, like Amy said, we have 6 agents. You get a total concierge package. I mean, we're here from start to finish. We, from the pricing, the marketing, everything in between, all the way till closing day, we're here. This is what we do for a living. We help you out. But with the full concierge, we have crews, contractors, we have lawn care people, preferred lenders, different businesses, that we have that we work with daily, to help you with anything that may arise. So you're not stuck, out there trying to figure out, well, now who do I call? Am I going to get ripped off by this contractor or that contractor? If I need roof repairs, if I need the house to be cleaned before pictures, we have that whole list. Our team, that's what we do. We are here 100% for you as your agent. You don't just have one of us, you have all of us, plus our whole list of people that, come with us. So definitely a plus.
Excellent point. And I think also we're the ones who usually are the ones, we're the ones and the ones and the ones. We're the ones again. We usually are there to meet the contractors and or schedule all of those things for you. At least our team does. I don't know how other teams do it, but we manage that for you as a homeowner. If you're here or not, we will take care of all of it for you. You don't have to you have to lift a finger maybe to sign a document here and there on dot loop or whatever. But we'll handle the contractors getting there, the scheduling, what time, when they'll be done, the estimates, getting the estimates to you. All of that's going to be taken care of from our team.
Yeah. I think overall that's helpful, of course, to all of our clients, but I think especially because I worked with a lot of out-of-state clients, and they have, if you buy this property and maybe it wasn't a good market to sell, or you held on to it as an investment and now you've moved on, you're in a different state, you're doing whatever you're doing, you're busy. How can you ever go back to sell your house? A lot of people think, oh my gosh, I have to go back to North Carolina and I got to figure out how to sell my house. I have to meet someone, I got to do this. I got to do repairs. I just talked to this one lady and she's talking about coming back for the summer just to do repairs after her tenants move out. And I told her, no, we'll take care of that for you. As long as we can get to the property and you're looking to sell it. I mean, we go out there and we handle all of it. You don't even have to come back to do anything, really. I mean, you're taking care of there. Everything's electronic, and I think it just makes it so much easier. And I think a lot of people get kind of nervous selling their house when they're not in state. But I think it's helpful to have not just one agent, but a full team. We have an admin. We have people here, and we're all experienced, and we've all been through different situations, different clients and stuff. And most of the time, we all go out to these properties together, and we walk through it together, and we figure out what needs to be done. If anything needs to be done, we have the people on hand. Like Heather said, we have our vendor list. And if you're putting your trust in us, you would trust that we know what needs to be done and how to go about it. That way, you're not stressed out about selling your property here, and it just makes it so much easier.
Yeah. Amy, didn't you help move a car?
Yes. Yep.
Amy had an out-of-state client without getting too much.
For sale by owner.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So there was a car there too for a while sitting there. Yep. And Amy had it moved. I think you moved your own driveway for a bit to help that client get this thing sold. I mean, these are things that come up daily in our time. Sometimes, it's rough, man, in here that, we leave work. I know I do. And I'm sure all of, Jan, Heather, Amy, mentally, sometimes you're really spent. You're drained because you're just thinking of numbers, doing numbers, right? Looking at houses, evaluating values, talking to contractors, looking at estimates, figuring out ways to how are we going to sell this thing based on what just happened. It's mentally challenging. So, so sometimes we're drained, and I know our spouses are probably like, you're home, let's talk, and then sometimes I know I am. I'm like, oh. I'm home and ready to go to sleep.
Either that or we're getting back on our laptop as soon as we walk in the door.
Yes. And
to do something else. Yeah.
Yes, exactly right. You're still working. And like I always say, being law enforcement before, it's one of those jobs that you really never are off. You're always kind of on call, but real estate's the same way. You're really never all the way off. You may be home, but something comes up. You got to take the call. You got to talk to a contractor. You got to talk to an appraiser. There's things that happen. So as a real estate agent, people don't realize it. Like I said in my one video, right? You can't always be in your pajamas. It's tough, man. You may be in your pajamas. You're working. You're moving around, man. So if you're doing it full time, I mean, I think it's very stressful. So, all right. So real quick, I'm going to go into the for sale by owner. It's not very common for you as the homeowner to sell your house. Yes, there are for sale by owners that are selling. Yes. And maybe you, if you're watching this now, maybe you've done 3, but it's not common. You got to understand. It's like us selling over 100 houses is about 1% of what real estate agents do. Had to throw that in there. So as a for sale by owner, your chance of selling an 8% nationally. In the U.S., 8% of for sale by owners actually sell without using an agent. So think about that when you're sitting there thinking, I want to sell my house fast for the most money and get where I need to be. You got an 8% chance there. You know, for me, if I went into the doctors and they said, hey, dude, you got an 8% chance to live if you do it this way, but if you do it this way, I'm going to go with the 92%, Heather? Would that be right?
Yeah, 92.
So, yeah, I mean, so 92% chance. I'm going with that, right? I mean, especially for me, if it comes down to my money and just eating, like Amy had said, eating monthly payments, the quicker you get it sold, the less you have to worry about with taxes and your monthly fees and upkeep if you're not here. The one Amy had, I mean, that house was vacant for years, like just sitting there. I don't know. I could never do that, but and then Amy gets it. She puts it under a contract within a couple weeks. So, just keep that in mind. The percentages is very low. All right. Anybody want to talk about that real quick?
I would just add in too, like, yes, 8% of houses that sold successfully on their own as for sale by owner, but what is successfully sold? I mean, if you think about it, your goal is to make the most money possible, but did you actually? And you'll never know, probably. You'll never know. Did you make the most money possible? How long was it on the market? Did you price it right? Did you negotiate to protect yourself as much as you could? Whatever else there is that goes with the home selling process, you don't even know if you successfully sold your house as a for sale by owner in that 8% because you didn't hire a professional to look at those numbers for you and let you know what a good price point is to sell your house. So that's something else to keep in mind, that even though they did it, how do you know that they're successful in making the most money they could?
Right. Just because they sold it doesn't mean it was a good sale that went smooth. Yeah. So let's recap. I'm going to recap real quick. So we talked about 8 different things, it looks like, from my notes. So number 1, statistics show, obviously, well, we kind of went statistics 2 for me twice, but statistics show that hiring an agent is going to get you more money and in less time. All right. For a number of different reasons. 2, we talked about listing it with a realtor gets you more eyes, more visibility. So your house sells faster based on the marketing that agents do. Okay. So not only do we do a little bit of marketing, a lot of agents, what I used to call them is farming agents, meaning they would plant their seed, which was their sign, and then they would sit there and wait for the buyers to grow or come to it. So we're not that type. So we're going to do videos. As you see, we do videos a lot. We do it almost every day now. One of us are doing something, but we're going to market your property aggressively, on Facebook ads, Facebook groups, MLS, to our buyer pool. It's going to be on our lead platform system. Those are things you're not going to have as for sale by owner. So number 2 is the marketing and listing with us or an agent sells faster. Number 3 was pre-qualifying buyers and showings and safety. Who are these people coming in your house? Who are they pre-qualified to even buy your house? Your house may be a $300,000 house, but these guys like, hey, I want to see a $300,000 house because I have nothing else to do this weekend, which happens a lot. So on open houses we do, I think Heather and Amy had some open houses this past year, and most of them were neighbors. It's like, oh, I just want to see what this one looks like. This one isn't good as ours. It just what you get.
Yeah.
So,
or renters.
What's that?
Or renters.
Or renters, yeah. That you want to rent this thing? No, man, I want to sell it. Get out of here. So think about that. Qualified buyers, safety with showings, knowing who's coming in because an agent's already meeting them, already know them, and bringing them. So and it saves you time. You don't have to meet them anymore. You go do what you got to do. All right. Number 4, pricing right. Amy mentioned, I think it was Amy, about pricing it right. We'll help you do that, and that's what we get paid to do, is price your property aggressively to get it sold. Number 5 was understanding, concessions. We do that for you. Negotiate on your best behalf, and then understand that normally for sale by owners are paying a commission no matter what. So if you can hire us for 5% to take every piece of it versus using or paying a buyer's agent 3%, I think it's well worth it. you know, you're going to pay commission anyways. It's not going to be that much of a difference in price hiring us. So that's key. And then number 6, we talk about reviewing and understanding contracts and the paperwork that goes along with it, and making sure all your documents are there legally for you so you don't get sued later and you owe more money even after. All right. Number 7, we mentioned, I think it was Heather mentioned, full concierge. Most real estate agents have vendor lists and people they go to help your transaction run smoother, which is contractors, landscaping, you know, cleaning crews, closing attorneys, you name it, preferred lenders, we got them. All right. So that's another key. And then the final one was understanding that statistically as a for sale by owner, it's not in your favor. It's not in your favor. So you want to hire us. I say us, not anybody else, us. And to sell your house, you got an 8% chance to sell it. And then all the above that we already just talked about can go crazy, right? So that's the recap. Anybody else got anything else? Because I still got 2 more things. I know I'm keeping you guys.
I want to say something really fast.
Yeah.
So with the for sale by owner, well, really with all of our clients, I would say that we worked for, we usually know how much they want to walk away with if that's the case, or they want to make the most money. So like you heard Dave say, 5%, I think we all have discounted our commission at one point or another for our clients for sale by owner, usually or not, it doesn't matter, because that's what we do as agents. You hire us not just to give you paperwork and look over things, but we are looking out for your best interest. So if that means that we're going to cover a repair cost, we will do that. I mean, we're full concierge. We'll do what we have to do in order to make the deal work, and also make sure that you're going to walk away with the most amount of money possible, because if you're not making money, we're not making money ultimately. So I think that's really important, is if you are for sale by owner or you're thinking about it and you do decide to go with an agent, just know that they should be representing you. They should be looking out for you. They want you to make the most money possible. So keep that in mind.
Jen, anything real quick?
No, I don't think so.
Nope.
I'm gonna throw this stat out there, and I want people who are seeing this, and some people are gonna be like, you got to be crazy or have that can't be true. And I'm telling you it's true. Our team had based on concessions that we agreed to help a deal go through, discounts, warranties, whatever it was for our clients in the last 2 years, 2018 to 2019, we saved our clients. Now remember this figure, over $107,000. $107,000. That's a lot of money that we saved. And some of that could have really went to us because we earned it in a sense of commission or whatever. But we saved our clients over $107,000. I know it sounds crazy and you don't believe it. Trust me, I did the figures. Alicia did the figures for the most part. So we got to give Alicia props here. But Alicia did the figures of all the deals we did in those 2 years and the things that we helped our clients with concessions or warranties or things like that. It was over $107,000. I fell out of my chair. That was a lot of money. But it's good because our clients are worth it. And again, without clients, we're no good. Understand what you get with us. So we're here for your best interest. One last thing, but there's 2 last things. Start with, don't look at Zillow for your home value. Okay, just stop it. All right. Zillow is analytics they use. It's not any good. It's not up to date. It's poo. So it's the most frustrating thing when you get people to call you and say, "Well, my Zillow estimate says," it means nothing. Your tax value means nothing. We'll get into that in a different video. I'm starting to go off. But me and Amy were talking about Zillow today, and I just wanted to throw that out there. Like, Zillow, no good. Don't look at what sold there before, or actives. For sure not actives. It's not a comp. But second announcement is we're doing something tomorrow that's going to be a surprise. Heather, you look surprised. You're not surprised. You already know it's coming. What do you mean?
What is it? I don't even know.
Like you were like, ooh, what
is it? What is it?
So we have something that's going to be released in probably next week, but tomorrow we're going to do it. It's going to be a pretty fun day tomorrow. And so be on the lookout for something coming in the next week from us. And it's not going to be me just talking. So that's good. So we have a lot of people looking at it. So that's all I have. Anybody have anything else?
Nope.
Awesome. Stay warm. thanks for everybody who watched it. We had a lot of people watching this thing throughout the time. So that's good. So hopefully we help. Oh, we had some comments. Hold on. Johan and them say same. Hold on. Can I show it? Here we go. Let's do this. Same reasons I don't manage my properties. For, okay. Yep. That's right. Hire property management. Okay. Ryan says good info. And then Johan and them say, wow, that's a lot of money. Heck yeah, it was a lot of money. No, it's all worth it, right, for people. But ultimately, that figure did kind of throw me back. But it's a good thing. You know, you got to spend money and do things sometimes to make money. And again, if we don't have the good clients and stuff, we're not making any money. And that's our ultimate goal, is to help them get where they need to be, make as much money as they can, and move on stress-free as possible. So, but be on the lookout for our surprise coming next week. Anything? One last thing? Anything, girls? Nothing? These three are like, get the heck off this thing. All right.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Be on the lookout for videos.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.